Ladies and gentlemen, now I've just been having a little bit of a read through the Storm Pyramid X Champions Spotlight, and if you really enjoy champions like Havok and Sunspot, she kind of gives off a very similar vibe, that a lot of this champion is about building up to a massive special, and then just seeing a really satisfying number. And I love Havok, I love Sunspot, but Storm, she kind of seems like that, maybe taken a bit of a step further with some of the utility that she does have as well. She looks like she has a very solid counter to evade, and also all of her attacks are energy damage, so she can deal with champions like what is it, Korg, Morningstar, and a few other scenarios as well. So let's cover some of the basics. Again, all of her attacks are energy damage, the basics, the specials. She also has 1400 energy resistance. It's not the biggest chunk in the game, but it is still a pretty solid chunk there. Also, if the opponent purifies a stun debuff, it is replaced with a passive stun lasting 2 seconds. I'm curious to see if this applies to the parry mastery, man, because that sounds really good if it does. Like, I think you can have all sorts of like interesting lineups with champions that shrug off stuff like a bit slower, like King Groot, for example, maybe Nick Fury if he's transitioning. I'm not too sure exactly how this is going to work, but it seems interesting, man. It seems very interesting there. And then we've got her pre-fight ability, and this is kind of the core of Storm. She's got 2 Tempests. She's got an Ice Tempest and a Lightning Tempest. Now, by default, the Ice one is going to be selected, but if selecting a different Tempest in the pre-fight screen, it becomes the new default. So once you set it to the opposing one, then you don't have to keep changing it back for every single fight. So I like that, man. More champions should definitely have that quality of life feature. Definitely Guillotine 2099, because it's annoying having to set a pre-fight at the start of every single encounter. So I really like that. Also, this is the kind of big thing here as well, when fighting Storm, when she's power locked or power drained. I don't know if this applies to power steal as well. I really hope it does, because this opens up so many more counters, like Doctor Doom, for example, and the new Sorcerer Supreme, if power steal does, you know, count under this power drain. But if power locked or power drained, Tempest are removed for 8 seconds, because she's going to be very annoying if she does have her Tempest activated. And why is that? So first off, the activation of Tempest is unaffected by ability accuracy. I'm not too sure if the Tempests themselves are affected, but the activation isn't affected. So we've got the Ice Tempest, so this one is the default here. So she essentially becomes a worse version of Ant-Man. So she gains immunity to Cold Snap and Frostbite. Again, great for certain matchups like Iceman, Vision, Arcus when you're playing the champion, but also incoming basic attacks have a 60% chance to glance, and glancing hits cannot be critical and deal 50% reduced damage and suffer minus 100% offensive ability accuracy. But again, unlike Ant-Man, you can remove this by power locking the champion or power draining the champion. Also, in her Lightning Tempest, decreases the potency of incoming shock effects by 100%, and for each active prowess, she's got a 2% chance to stun the opponent on hit for 0.9 seconds, and this has a maximum of a 16% chance. So yeah, if she doesn't have the Ice Tempest active, she can have a chance to stun you when you're attacking into her via her Lightning Tempest, so that's going to make her a little bit annoying there. However, when you knock her down, if not already active, Storm activates her alternate Tempest for 12 seconds. So if you have the Ice Tempest, you want to get past the glancing, you can knock her down. However, that will go into Lightning Tempest, and then she's got a chance to stun you on hit there. So yeah, that's fun. The duration of this is paused during heavy attacks and special attacks, just as a bit of an additional heads up there as well. Then next up, we have the thing that gets me a little bit excited for the damage output potential of Storm Pyramid X, and that is the Prowess mechanic. So this triggers when either champion fills a bar of power, each Tempest generates 1 Prowess. Now, you can actually have both of the Tempest active via the Awakened ability and also the Special 3, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but each one of these will increase special attack damage by 40% on your next special, and the first 3 have infinite duration, duration. However, additional prowess buffs last 10 seconds up to a maximum of 12. So I think practically speaking, with the rate of generation, like power bars are just being filled all of the time, and in a 10-second window, I think you're going to be able to get anywhere between like 7 to 11 prowess, and if you can get 11, man, that's 440% additional damage on your next special attack. Combined with some of the other stuff she has, I think it's going to be a big number. I think it's going to be a very big number. But also, if Storm has 6 prowess effects active during a special attack, you gain a passive unblockable for 1.8 seconds. So pretty much unblockable specials as well above 6 prowess, which should be really, really easy. And they're just, you know, very, very satisfying as well. Now, she also, on top of that, has a heavy attack charging mechanic that you need to like throw a special after as well, so you can gain even more prowess up to 100% there by charging your heavy and then throwing a special after that, which combined with the unblockable special seems like it's going to be you know, realistically quite practical to do. So yeah, even more prowess, man. Maybe brings it up to like 540% there, or 580% prowess is the absolute maximum. And then we have the special one. So it inflicts a passive slow for the duration of this special attack, preventing the effects of unstoppable and lowering evade ability accuracy by 100%. Opponents with a natural class advantage cannot be slowed. So she can't slow, what is it, tech champions? But really that isn't too much hassle for a passive slow. But if you have your Ice Tempest active, each hit that contacts the opponent generates 1 prowess buff, increasing special attack damage by 10% for the remainder of this special attack. And additionally, the final hit inflicts a passive cold snap, dealing 2000 energy damage over 14 seconds. Now, this damage, I'm a little bit curious as to whether or not the effects of special attacks kind of scale up with the prowess. I'm not too sure that they will, but if they do, this damage is going to be crazy. But the most important thing is Cold Snap mitigates evade, and having a 14-second Cold Snap is a 14-second evade counter on the special one, and it's also a passive Cold Snap, so it cannot be shrugged off as well. So yeah, this just seems really, really good evade counter on the special one. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I think its kind of main utility, the special one, is going to be for the cold snap and evade counter, because it looks like, man, you want to go for the special 2. So each hit of the special 2 inflicts a shock debuff, dealing again about 2000 energy damage over 9 seconds. If the opponent purifies any of these shock debuffs, you deal a burst of additional shock damage instead. But also the shock damage is increased by up to 90% based on the opponent's current power. Additionally, each prowess reduces the opponent's defensive power rate by 25% up to a maximum of 100%. So it's basically saying that you can get them like very, very close to the special 3, fire off the special 2, and it will give them no power. So it allows you to really kind of maximize the first line of this. I don't know if it's just for like the shock debuff damage or the actual hit itself, but with like potentially up to a 580% special damage multiplier, I think there's going to be some really nice damage, and I really hope the shock damage scales off the prowess as well, because it's going to be nuts if it does, man. It's going to be so crazy. But I think we're going to see some very, very big numbers. I'm tremendously excited for it. And then on the special 3, so if both Tempest are already active, Storm increases her attack rating by 3,655 for the duration of the special attack, and after the special attack ends, Storm activates her alternate Tempest for 35 seconds. So this one runs alongside, I think, your main Tempest as well. So basically you have both Tempests for 35 seconds, so it just allows you to generate that prowess easier and get the utility of the second Tempest as well. So that seems pretty damn awesome. But the signature ability, while below 30% of her maximum health, so if you want to play a like Nick Fury style, man, you have both of your Tempest always activated. So yeah, that seems like it's going to be a fun way to play Storm if you want kind of the damage ramp up with a prowess gaining much faster and you don't want to go to a special 3. So I think there are going to be, you know, some teams and combinations and gameplay videos where we can really utilize this. So it seems pretty damn cool, man. I'm very, very excited for that. But then we have some of the synergies that affect Storm Pyramid X. So the first one is with Sorcerer Supreme. Opponents' nullify effects suffer a minus 50% ability accuracy, because this is one of the things in terms of your matchup as well. If you bring in a Mystic champion, you can nullify the Prowess. The Prowess is an actual buff and not a passive according to this. So yeah, if you just bring in a nullified champion, might be interesting against Storm for a lot of damage in the right matchup there. But again, you do have to deal with glancing unless you can get her in the other phase, or what is it? Power burn or power lock. But I think magic is going to be quite nice maybe for this fight. We're going to have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, I think she'll be a really good counter there. And then with Bishop, Prowess buffs last 4 seconds longer, so even easier to kind of build up to the 12 maximum there. And then she has Under the Weather with Storm, so alternate Tempest activated by Storm Special 3, last 8 seconds longer. So that seems alright, nothing like super amazing there, but hey, not too bad, man. And then the other synergy, she just gives out to various champions that we covered in the video earlier, but nothing like super crazy there. However, apparently Storm Pyramid X as well has higher than average block proficiency to help compensate for a lower health pool. So yeah, that seems pretty damn good there as well. The Stupefy to extend stuns, and she needs parry as well to charge up those heavies ideally. But overall, Storm, she seems like a character with kind of a lot of solid base utility for all sorts of different matchups. Again, she's got the immunity to Cold Snap, Frostbite, also the potential shock immunity as well. All her attacks are energy damage. She has this chance to stun the opponent. Also, when a stun is purified, you get a passive stun as well. And on top of that, you've got like evade counter on the special one and some really interesting sources of damage output. So I've got some pretty high hopes for the new Storm, man. I think both of the new characters are looking pretty decent, but it's always so hard to tell until they're actually in the game and you can see how they're performing, because like last month, like Mole Man and Terax seem like incredibly interesting champions on paper, but both of them, when it came to the gameplay, were a little bit disappointing. So it's always one of those things of like, you know, it's good to read the early abilities and have a bit of an idea of what's going on, but we've always got to manage our expectations, boys, because we've been let down many times in the past. But hopefully both this month's champions are going to be absolute bangers. They certainly both look quite promising on paper, so yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see on that one. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on Storm Pyramid X in the comments section below, and if you did enjoy today's video, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.